How you doing? So I am at a trade show in Las Vegas, and I'm a Brit that's travelled across the sea all the way from the UK to present my business at a trade show, and I'm actually at Caesars Forum. Now this video is going to be really useful for you if you're a business owner and you're thinking of exhibiting in the US, and more specifically Las Vegas. I'm at Caesars Forum, which I think is a fairly newly refurbished venue, right on the just at the back of the strip, so a really prominent place. The venue's actually beautiful, it's really nicely done. And the trade show that I'm at is the Traffic and Conversion Conference, and as a digital marketer, my business Blam Websites, which helps people start their own digital agency, uses this audience that attend this show as a way of us getting our brand out there and potentially recruiting some partners so that we can engage with the right people and do more business, raise awareness. Now, this video is all about my experience as a booth holder, so somebody that's come over and purchased a booth, and the booth is right behind me. So quickly show you here. That's our booth, and it's a 10-foot by 10-foot booth. There's a few other booths there, and if I just sort of show you the layout, there's quite a few of these booths around, and there's the main stage, and behind the main stage there's quite a few other rooms that are all having what we breakout spaces. So all the people that have got booths here are from all different parts of the US. There's a couple of others from overseas, and like myself, they will have purchased this booth potentially. I mean, we ordered ours about 18 months ago because the show was postponed when it was moved to Las Vegas. And the initial way that we had to purchase it was that we paid 50% up front, and then we had to pay the balance payment a couple of months prior to the event taking place. Now, it was a few $1,000s, and it was quite a significant expense for a business like ours to invest. Compared to events that we've done in the UK, this is a 3-day event. It was roughly double the cost. It actually cost us $10,000 in total to get the booth, and that was an early bird discount. I know that a few other people have paid a bit more than that. No doubt there were people that might have paid a bit less. So the first thing I would say is just make sure that you negotiate the right price for your booth. They are open to deals. I think it will very much depend on how popular the show is. This certainly, as a show, would have had room for more vendors, because when we saw the map originally, there were a lot more spaces than they've actually ended up selling. And so I think from the first perspective, the first tip I would say is negotiate the cost. If you're exhibiting at a show that potentially isn't going to be full, because I'm sure there are people here that have got a better deal than I did, even though I got the early bird deal. The guys next to us paid a little bit more than us. I just had a chat with them, but you know, they're not too bitter because they got it booked in and they knew they were going to attend the stand. Now, things to know about Las Vegas, hidden costs that you need to be really careful of. And number one is, if you're staying in one of the main hotels on the strip, and in fact in broader Las Vegas as well, we're finding this, there is something called a resort charge. Now that means that you will book your hotel, and for me there were 4 people attending our stand, and that's actually 2 rooms. We booked actually 9 nights. For every night per room, we've been charged an additional fee of $39.50 per room per night, which we were told about when we arrived, when we checked in. Now, this is something that has caused quite a lot of controversy in Las Vegas. They call it a resort fee, and I think it started with some of the big hotels about 10 years ago that are proper resorts. The hotel that we're stopping at, it's got a casino, you know, it's a nice hotel, but the resort charge straight away as we landed, as we arrived in the hotel, we felt like we were being ripped off because the resort fees hidden in the fine print, we had no idea about it. Not only that, they tried to charge us $50 per room per night for security. Now I managed to get that reduced, and we ended up paying $100, I think it was, in the end. So they just charged us for one night across the board, but apparently that's to, secure the room, make sure that we don't damage it, etc. So hidden charges started from the moment we actually arrived at the hotel. Now, another thing that is something that we had to consider is, because we've come from overseas, we had to get the design done, and there it is in the background. We had to get it printed, and then we had to get it erected, and it was again about more than double the price to get that done. So if we look at the stand there, that is a 10-metre stand, and you can see it's not great quality because it's got a bit of a bow in it, which I was a bit disappointed about, but apparently they can't fix that. It's a fault. That cost, it was about $900 to get that produced, as in printed, and then the guy came on the day to get it erected. Now, that is more than double what it would have cost in the UK, so very expensive. Plus, we've got a number of tickets that were provided to us that I'll come on to in a little bit, that were tickets provided for our guests. Now, they actually gave us 2 VIP tickets, which get to use the VIP lounge, which is over there, and you get full access to all of you get food and full access, etc. Those tickets are normally about $2,500 if you buy them. Plus, unless you go for the early bird, there's usually a discount if you buy them early, which is what I would normally do. Plus 8 other tickets, which are called networking tickets. Now, these networking tickets, which I didn't realise, only have access to the main room. Now, the main room hasn't got talks all day long. It's got specific talks throughout the day, but it's by no means a full day's menu. Now, I didn't realise this when I was given the tickets, and I invited people to come and join us, gave them the tickets, and now they found out that they haven't got tickets that can give them access to all of the talks. That really wasn't described to us properly, and we had no idea that that would happen. It's another example of how I feel that as a business model, these shows in the States and in Vegas, you know, they're all about sort of trying to upsell everything, be cheap with, you know, what they do. Everything's a money grab, and so these bottom tickets were given to us, but really, you know, they were expecting us to upgrade. We had to use one of those tickets, by the way, for the guy that put up the stand, so we had to lose one of those tickets. Now, here's the one that is the big alert. This one is a big warning to anybody that's doing a trade show, because this morning, we're here for 3 days, this is the second day. When we arrived, we had, in fact, this chap here, you can see behind a little yellow invoice. We were both very surprised to find that sat in our booth when we arrived this morning, and my was actually an invoice, a bill for nearly $900, which I thought must be a mistake. It actually turns out that the venue charges to deliver these sofas, which we've hired, at an expense of $800 to hire them for 3 days. They were delivered by the company that I hired them from, but they were dropped off at the door, and to get them from the door to here, $900. Absolutely outrageous. This is something that everybody needs to be aware of. The guy next to me who's done these shows before has been charged $100 because apparently they do it on weight, and he'd had his stand dropped off, so to move that stand, which you can carry really easily in a bag, from the door to where his trade show is, $100 he got charged for that. Now, I went and spoke to the ladies over there that are the actual exhibition hall representatives, the ones that manage all of this, and they were adamant it was all very clear in the terms and conditions. So my advice is check your terms and conditions, because when I actually saw the terms and conditions when they came through, and I saw the heading that said shipping, because I was paying for shipping myself, that meant that I didn't really pay much attention to it, because I thought, well, I'm paying for the shipping, I'm paying for everything to be delivered to my stand. I had to give the ticket, one of the tickets, to the delivery person in order to get them here. so I didn't pay any attention to it because I thought I'm paying somebody else to do the delivery, and therefore the exhibition hall hasn't got anything to do with it. So I didn't really read it in that much detail. Apparently, having had a rant at the people, this is normal practice across the states, that the actual venues charge this shipping fee, and they do it by weight. So unfortunately, I ordered 2 very heavy sofas, and because of the weight of them, it was charged by the pound. It means that I've ended up paying $900 to move 2 sofas across an exhibition hall, which is absolutely outrageous. I could have bought a fantastic sofa suite that could have lasted years for the price that it's cost me to take these sofas and use them for these 3 days. So be aware of all these hidden fees that you see throughout these shows, because for somebody that is dipping their toe in the water of an overseas show, there's a lot of hidden expenses that can really add up, that can make you question whether the cost of it is actually a profitable exercise or not. Certainly, for the entire show and all the expenses that we've incurred, I'd say that as well as having a week out of the office in a completely different time zone, it's cost around about £17,000. So dollars wise, it will have cost us, sort of $20,000 plus. Now we've got to do a lot of business to make that a profitable enterprise. You could argue that it is a brand building and an awareness thing, which I think it is. But certainly it's going to make me question whether I do it again, because these hidden costs leave a really bad taste in your mouth. However, the show's been a great show. I haven't really got any complaint. I've been to this show many times. It's usually in San Diego. This time it's in Las Vegas. But for anybody out there owning a business, particularly if you're coming in from overseas, looking to exhibit at a show in the US, particularly in Vegas, just be aware of these things: the resort fees, the shipping and handling charges, the price that you pay at the venue, because all these little hidden costs really add up and can really influence whether or not it's a good idea for you to exhibit. And in fact, some of the guys that are a bit more savvy and a bit more experienced, so some of the guys that I've spoken to over there, they've gone to Target or Walmart and bought a little table and chairs, so they didn't have to pay thousands for the hidden fees. So that's something that you might have to consider if you give it a go. So my name's Grant Stane. My business is Blam. We'll no doubt be exhibiting elsewhere. We've exhibited all over the world: South Africa, Ireland, UK, and Germany, and never come across all these hidden fees anywhere else. So I wanted to share this information so that hopefully you don't get caught out like we did, and you can enjoy the show more knowing that you've gone in with the information that you need to make your show a success. Thanks for listening, guys. See you on the next one.